So in today's video, we're going to be dissecting shot for shot the new trailer for Resident Evil Death Island. Now, as many of you guys voted, and as well, you guys know on the channel, I am super hyped for this movie. And you know what? Yeah, after watching this trailer, I'm even more hyped. So you know what? Let's just get started with the dissecting. All right, so one of the first things that I loved about this initial shot was we have Chris and Rebecca kind of talking about Jill, and her experience with Resident Evil 5. Now, I'm assuming in my previous full breakdown analysis of the first trailer, we do know for certain that this does take place after the events of Resident Evil Vendetta, which of course took place in the year 2014. So I'm assuming this could take place in 2015 or 2016, but it has to take place after that movie. So it's interesting that Jill is still kind of traumatized by the events that occurred with Wesker. So yeah, I love the fact that they mentioned Wesker here also. Of course, guys, this is Project Wesker. We're all Wesker bros here, so any mention of Wesker after so many years is crazy. It's awesome. But what I was saying is that, but it's really interesting to see that Jill is still kind of traumatized after those events, which I guess would be probably 6 years at least after the events of Resident Evil 5, since Resident Evil 5 does take place in 2009. And, Wesker did kind of, take control of her and put her to cryogenic sleep and use her as a puppet for roughly around 3 years. Yeah, 3 years since Lost in Nightmares takes place in 2006. 2009 is Resident Evil 5, so that's 3 years. And then, of course, this has to take place in 2015. So, yeah, 6 years. 6 years after, and you can still see the effects of what happened with Wesker and Jill. So I love that, by the way. I love it when we kind of get a breakdown or just an explanation as to like the mental health of the character, because we don't really get that in the games. We did really recently get it with Resident Evil 4 Remake. I do have to correct myself there, which I also really loved. But yeah, I love how the movies, like even the previous show, I was going to say movie, but no, show, Resident Evil Infinite Darkness also did that. So yeah, just this initial shot of Chris basically talking to Rebecca talking to Chris about Jill. So yeah, and then you see, Jill is practicing her aim. And you know what? The other thing that I also want to mention here that's really interesting is that before Rebecca was a professor, she was a professor of virology. That's what she was doing during the events of Vendetta, which I'm assuming takes place a year before this. So we do know that took place in 2014. But what I'm getting at here is it would seem that Rebecca might be working with the BSAA here. The fact that they're all kind of just working together, they're all in an environment here. I wonder, after the events of Vendetta, did Rebecca just join up with the BSAA as like a head scientist or virologist? Because she obviously wasn't working with the BSAA before, and during the events of Vendetta, she was just cooperating with the BSAA, right? Because it obviously affected her. Her whole university got infected, so. It's interesting. Yeah, is she working with the BSAA here? If so, that's awesome. Because it is worth noting as well that in Vendetta, there was a whole scene where Rebecca literally states that she's not really a fighter. She always preferred she gave all of that up kind of just to pursue more knowledge and stuff. So that's how she's fighting bioterrorism, is becoming a virologist. But it's interesting that in this trailer alone, spoiler alert, we've already seen the trailer, all of us. We see that Rebecca does some crazy flips, so she's doing some action, so she is a fighter. So I love that. I guess that the whole events of Vendetta kind of just made her come back to this whole thing again, and working against bioterrorism with the BSA. I'm going to look really close here and see if I spot the BSAA symbol on Chris's armor. But you know what? Let's see right here. Maybe we'll see it in a second shot. It seems like the emblem is there. I can't really see here, but regardless, yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm assuming. They should already be working with BSAA still during this point. So yeah, anyways, let's continue. It's also worth noting too that everybody looks. It's funny. We kind of have like an amalgamation of character models. So that's not just me that's stated this. A lot of RE fans have stated this as well, and some of them are kind of pissed, and it's understandable. Like, of course, we have Jill, who looks exactly like her model in Resident Evil 3 Remake. She doesn't look old at all. Chris looks exactly the same as he did in Vendetta, and he did look a lot like his RE5 counterpart or RE6. Of course, not exact one-to-one, right? Like exactly the same. But he definitely looks a lot more like Chris that we do know compared to like the Chris from Resident Evil 7. who was not Chris. That was like Chris's brother. But yeah, it's interesting that Rebecca here looks very different to her model in Resident Evil Vendetta. She looks completely different here. Not completely, but you know what I mean. She looks different from the other one. Even her hair seems like it's a lot longer here. So that's interesting. I guess that's her definitive look now. And going back to what I was saying about the character models, Leon looks exactly like his his look from Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, as well as Claire. So it's really weird because, of course, a lot of you guys know that the events of Resident Evil Infinite Darkness take place in 2006. Now, the funny thing is that everybody here looks exactly the same as before. Their character models might be a little bit different, but it's interesting. Everybody still looks young. Now, it is worth mentioning that we do know that Claire got infected with the T Phobos virus in Revelations 2. We do know that the explanation for why Jill looks young here is because of the T virus that she was infected with the events of Resident Evil 3, or the variation of it with Nemesis. And so I think it's funny how, but still, it wouldn't explain how everybody looks young. So my explanation as to why they probably all look young is probably because we have to remember that this is the Resident Evil is a Japanese company, right? It's owned by Capcom, so there's a lot of Japanese developers. So I'm assuming that they're probably looking at it from like an Asian perspective, because we all know that Asians, they look young for for a long time. So as opposed to people right from from the West. So I think so. You know what? That's probably what's happening here. That's probably why everybody looks really young. It's probably because the Japanese animators, they probably thought, oh yeah, no, they'll still look young, but I mean, nah. They should look a lot older, but I mean that's fine. I mean, again, this does take place, I'm assuming, around 2015 or maybe 2016. So, but yeah, still hilarious. It doesn't bother me, her look, but I think it looks the same. I mean, that's Rebecca. There's no denying that that's Rebecca. So, and yeah, if anything, I thought that the Vendetta of Rebecca kind of looked a little skinny. But anyways, let's continue because we got a lot to cover. So yeah, we have Chris here, and I can't catch anything right there. I was going to see if maybe I saw something. Yeah, right here, we can kind of see the BSAA. So it is confirmed. So I'm assuming, again, with what I was mentioning before, is this, I don't want to zoom on that part of Jill. Right here, that's definitely the BSAA logo. But as I was mentioning, yeah, so are they working for the BSAA? Is Rebecca now working with them? So yeah, I'm super hyped about this. I'm so excited to see all these characters interact with each other. So yeah. Anyways, let's continue. So the next shot here, what's interesting about this and what I'm assuming is happening here is that this could be either an unrelated case to the main event, or it could just be them, a shot of Jill working for the BSAA. They solve a case and then they go back, and then the movie starts, right? The plot of the movie. That could be it, or the alternative to that is that there's something that happens at the start of the movie that will lead to the main story, right? The main story plot. That's most likely what's happening here. But it's interesting. Yeah, it looks like it's at night. We don't know. This looks like it's a house. But yeah, Jill gets attacked here by a zombie. And we do know, of course, that in the trailer, they do state that this is the T virus. Now, what's interesting about this is that in my previous full breakdown analysis, I did specifically state that I thought that this was probably a variation of the T abyss virus, mostly because of the liquors. They kind of look like they were like aquatic. And the only other virus that we saw that was similar to like that, where they kind of had like the shark fins or whatever, or like, was the T abyss. Now, it is worth mentioning that the T abyss is a combination of the T virus and the progenitor virus. So that could still be an issue. That could still be the case, is what I mean. And on top of that, it could just be a variation of that. Maybe it's a combination of another virus added to the T abyss. And so that's why when Rebecca in the trailer kind of just states, hey, this is the T virus, or what, I think it was Rebecca. It might have been Hunnigan. But yeah, it could have been. It could just be a variation of that. So my theory could still be true, but if not, then I'm really interested to see what this new virus is then. But yeah, again, going back to the scene here, we have Jill, kind of attacking a different zombie. This seems like it's the same kind of area. We do know that it's at night, so logic would dictate that this is the same kind of shot after, because again, this is not the same location. So, but I would like the same exact location, because here we see Jill's on top of like a dining table, a dining room. the dining room. So yeah, and she shoots the zombie, and yeah, here we see that they're definitely in a house. While here on the previous screenshots, it almost looked like she was. Um, let's look behind her here. What's happening here? Let's look behind. Yeah, this seems like there's a staircase. I don't know if this might be outside or something. I'm kind of getting outside vibes, or kind of just yeah. So it's interesting. Maybe that's just inside, and that's just a weird. They're just on the second floor of the house. But I don't know. For some reason, I just assumed that this was like a hallway. But no, you know what? This could be the second floor of a house. Yeah, over here we can kind of see like underneath my face. Let's see if I can move that. I'll move my face right now, but it seems like there's a room here. It seems like there's a room over there. So yeah, this would appear to be the same house, but this is probably the second floor. So yeah, this is the same location, but not the same exact spot in the house. So yeah, like Jill, shoots another zombie. And that's it. Yeah. So next up, we have that same shot that we saw in the first trailer with Leon, kind of like in a market area. I don't know. I thought I saw some like containers in the back, so I don't know if this was like a dock area. But yeah, it seems like what right here. I don't know if what I'm assuming is happening here. They're probably kidnapping. It seems like somebody's throwing someone here into the back of a van. I'm assuming that this is probably that Dr. Taylor that we heard in the description of the movie. So if you guys saw my Everything We Know So Far About Resident Evil Death Island video, we did get a glimpse as to like the plot, of what this movie's about. And they did mention that there was a Dr. Taylor. We did hear him in this trailer as well, and I'm assuming we did see him as well. He kind of looks like an old man. So yeah, it seems right here probably Leon is getting a debrief with Hunnigan. And by the way, I have to say, Matthew Mercer is back playing Leon. Like I was not expecting that. There was one comment or one viewer that I was having a conversation with. He's like, I hope they bring Matthew Mercer back. And I was like, that would be awesome, but I doubt that that's probably going to happen. It's probably going to be Nick Apostolides again. And Nick did a fantastic job in the recent Resident Evil 4 remake game that just released. So but yeah, and sure enough, we got Matthew Mercer back, who's a huge voice actor. I loved him in Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil Damnation, Resident Evil Vendetta. We have to get to the cathedral. I love that. I love Leon, older Leon. And so it makes sense why they brought him back. And they also brought him the same voice actor as well as Ingrid Hunnigan. So the same voice actor that portrayed Ingrid Hunnigan in Resident Evil 6, which, yeah, I noticed that while I was listening. I was like, hey, wait a second. It's also worth noting, too, that Rebecca, Chris, as well from Vendetta are the same actors. So, yeah, they did a phenomenal job in that movie. So, yeah, I'm super hyped. And we also got Stephanie Panicello as Claire, which is awesome. Now, it was rumored as well. We didn't see this in the trailer, but it is worth mentioning that Eda is also going to be coming back, and she is going to be played by Lily Gao again. So I don't know if that's 100% accurate. This is stuff that I've seen other people post, but as like a brief cameo, I don't know. But this is awesome, guys. The way this movie is having so many of the characters that we've seen so far. Now we're going to get Eda, it seems. Again, that's not confirmed, but it seems like a lot of people are saying that. So if that's the case, and it is Lily Gale, that's awesome. Love Lily in the recent Resident Evil 4 remake, and as well as Welcome to Raccoon City and that brief, short ending clip. But anyways, let's continue here. So that's basically what I wanted to mention about the voice acting. But yeah, we have here, this is the same shot we saw in the previous trailer with Leon with his new bike, which, he's looking fly there. And then over here we have, Claire. Again, looks like she's here with TerraSave because, and what's interesting too that I thought was very strange is that, and I mentioned this in the previous video, is Claire's look is gone back to her her RE2 look, like her classic look. So I guess Resident Evil, it is worth mentioning too that Revelations games are spin-offs. So they don't go, they are canon, but they are spin-offs. So that look of Claire having short hair, I guess wasn't, they didn't keep that. And to be honest, I kind of like this version, but again, everybody looks young. But anyways, yeah. So it seems like Claire's here. She's looking at an infected whale, or it seems like it's a killer whale, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we see seagulls here. So very similar to also like Revelations. So again, this is leading me to believe that this is T. abyss virus. Next up, we have Claire discussing her findings with the team. So what's interesting is Claire also working with the BSAA, or is she just working like being like a partner because something's happening here and TerraSave invited her, and sure enough, her brother and the rest of the team are looking into this to the events of Resident Evil, Death Island. But yeah, is that what's happening, or did she join the BSA? It's interesting. I'm really hyped about this. Yeah, and it is worth noting as well that all of the CGI movies, if you guys didn't know, are all canon to the story. So this is why I'm so hyped, because we have not seen Jill in such a long time. I think it's been what 13 years. Like this is the last time we saw her was in 2009. During the events of Resident Evil 5. So, and not counting the remake, which takes place in 1998, I'm just talking about like the general, like present day. Like this is the first time we've seen Jill in such a long time. So, yeah, anyways, let's continue. Yeah, we have everybody speaking, seeing Jill and Chris again. It's so dope. That's so awesome. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, we have the whole team here except for Leon. And yeah, so here we have, and this is something that we dissected before. These are all of the victims that are all connected. All of these victims, it seems, all of them are in the only connection that all of these victims have to the infection is that they all came from Alcatraz. That's what the trailer states, and that's the both trailers from the first one as well. And yeah, these are their faces. Nothing really to note here. I guess the only thing here is Jack Talores, Daniel Von Davis, Lady. Yeah. These are just random people. There's a Japanese guy, two Japanese people. That's interesting. Yeah, that have visited Alcatraz. So yeah. Anyways, let's continue. This is something we've already broken down. Yep. We already know. Yeah, Shiosawa visited Alcatraz, and we just saw here Shiosawa was the old man. Was it, or was it the other? No, it was this guy, Shinya Shiosawa. So yeah, right here, and yeah. All right, let's continue. So that yeah, everybody's going to Alcatraz. Next shot, we see another glimpse at Maria Gomez, which is something we already dissected in the previous trailer. And it seems right here now there's a new character here. This is the villain of the story, and very interesting. We've never seen this guy before. Apparently, his name is Dylan. And the guy that's also sitting on the chair here, that's the doctor that we were talking about before. I think his name was Aaron Taylor. I don't know about the first name, but I'm pretty sure his name was Dr. Taylor. So Dr. Taylor here is with, and I'm pretty sure that goes back to what we were discussing just minutes ago, referring to that kidnapping that I guess Leon was looking at on his phone. I'm assuming that that's probably what happened here. They kidnapped the doctor. They probably kidnapped him. So his organization or whatever he's affiliated with, the main villain, I guess. So yeah, here, and let's have a closer look at what's happening here. See, these seems like this right now looks like a bunch of test subjects. So it seems like him and Dr. Taylor, because there is one point in the trailer where him and Dr. Taylor say, let's release our creation. So it seems like Dr. Taylor did have a hand to play in the new virus that's going to appear in this movie. So interesting, very interesting. Yeah, it seems like these are all just test subjects. It seems like they're infecting tourists that go to Alcatraz. It seems like that's probably the story, but very interesting. Anyways, let's continue. Yeah, next up we have on that security cameras we see Chris, Claire, and Leon. So yeah, very interesting. Here they're all wearing civilian clothes. So this is the first time that we've seen them like in a movie, because they're always wearing like I guess Leon and Claire like to wear leather jackets, but it's interesting to see like this new kind of getup where we see Chris with like a Hawaiian shirt. He's really trying to blend in. Jill here I think is wearing a cardigan, it seems, or like a long sweater here. So yeah, really cool to see. Just our the characters that we've seen for such a long time just wearing different clothes. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, we have Claire here. Here's a really nice shot of everybody's civilian clothes, even though Jill still has like her gloves. Yeah, I think that's funny, tactical gloves and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so it seems like as soon as they reach Alcatraz, that's when the whole outbreak begins. It seems like they probably get alerted. So Dr. Taylor, as well as Maria Gomez, and the new character Dylan, who seems to be the head honcho here, it seems like they get alerted and they start releasing their test subjects that they've been kidnapping tourists. That's what I'm assuming is the story here is. But anyways, let's continue. Yeah, it seems. Yeah, this is the scene where Taylor says, "Let's release our creation." So it seems like as soon as they spot them on the security camera, that's when he pushes the button and it releases a bunch of the test subjects that are in Alcatraz. So yeah, and it seems like right away this is the same shot that we saw before, where it seems like people are getting eaten. Claire, Jill, and Chris are there, and yeah. Seems like Claire's there. We see, what is that? I guess zombies falling from the second floor. Yeah, that's the same zombie we saw before. Chris is already ready with his gun. I'm assuming Jill too. Now this next shot, it seems like this is a lot later. This is a tunnel. I don't know if this is still in Alcatraz, but just a different section, different tunnel or whatever. Now this is an awesome shot right here, mostly because, the next shots we have Leon show up, thinking that Jill is like an enemy, and they start kind of doing hand to hand, combat and some CQC. And yeah, it's really cool here. Now, what's interesting here, I would say, is that Leon doesn't have his knife, which is kind of like, what are you doing, Leon? Like, come on, like, especially after Resident Evil 4 remake, I guess they didn't incorporate that, but it seems like, yeah, he just points like he was gonna shoot her here. I guess Leon is just doing more of that gun fu that we saw him doing the Vendetta, and I don't know what gun this is. You know what? Judging by this, it doesn't look like his other gun, like the wing shooters. No, you know what? This kind of looks like the Sentinel 9, which, by the way, I really love the Sentinel 9 in Resident Evil remake. Yeah, I thought they did a phenomenal job with that. I think that's like the best gun in Resident Evil 4 remake. But anyways, yeah, so that's interesting. This whole fight, really cool. Oh, and it seems like Jill had her knife here. I just noticed that too. Wait, yeah. You see that shiny? Yeah, she had her knife. So it's interesting that Jill had her knife, but Leon didn't. So it's like, come on, Leon, like that's whoever directed that scene, they should have had Leon have his knife as well. But it seems like they just bump into each other and they thought that they were enemies, and they're probably just gonna stop. But regardless, I think this is an awesome scene, seeing Jill and Leon. Next shot, yeah, we kind of see the infection of a fish here, and this is what leads me to believe that this is the T Abyss. Now, it's also interesting because we do know that for certain that some of the enemies in this movie, the zombies or whatever infection you want to call it, it has the T virus. And so right here, seeing a shark fin kind of brings me back to the Neptune enemy in Resident Evil 1. So yeah, very interesting that we're exploring that more aquatic kind of feel. And we do know that sharks like to go around Alcatraz, right? If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's definitely a shark. Yeah, next shot, we see Ingrid Hunnigan speaking with Rebecca Chambers. And I thought this was, again, we've never seen this. Two characters that we know from the series, and they're chatting together. Like we just saw Leon and Jill speaking. Like it's it's so cool. Yeah, they're talking and stuff. Yep, right there, talking through the phone, kind of just telling her. I think that's the scene where she tells her about that. This is the T virus. So it seems Rebecca is getting to work right away. Here we have a closer shot of the liquor. Again, this liquor looks like, the reason I'm assuming that this might be the T Abyss virus, a variation of it, maybe another virus is added to it, is mostly, maybe it could be also, like I stated in the previous dissection, it could be the A virus. Maybe the A virus with the T Abyss, because again, the T Abyss does have the progenitor and the T virus. So, it could be, but yeah, these kind of fins right here on the right of him. So, yeah, interesting. Let's continue. And again, it is worth noting, yeah, I was just going to say that this is the same shot. This is the same area, hallway, tunnel that Leon and Jill were just fighting in. So anyways, next shot, yeah, we have there, yeah, both of them there together, which is so awesome. This is the first time this has happened. This is just sick. Can't wait to watch this. I'm so hyped, as you guys can tell. Yeah, next shot. And then we see a classic Chris with Claire. Now, this seems like it's still... the initial shot right here, we can kind of see the railings here of Alcatraz. So it seems like as soon as Jill, Claire, and Chris are show up to Alcatraz, kind of just investigating. As soon as Dylan and Dr. Taylor kind of press the button to release all of the zombies, that happens. It seems Chris kind of just gets rid of his Hawaiian shirt. So, which I think is hilarious. And anyways, yeah, let's continue. So it's definitely that same shot. It looks like it's the same time of day. Seems like Rebecca here is kind of arriving late. I guess she was just figuring out the virus, doing her job there. And it seems like she's coming here for backup, which is awesome. Because again, we did see her doing some action sequences here, shooting with a gun. So really cool to see. Yeah. Next shot, we have a closer look at Dylan here. And again, I would assume that person that's sitting right there is Dr. Taylor, because we did have that recent shot again where they press the button, and it would make sense that they kidnapped him with the footage that we saw before with Leon's phone. Next up, just more close-ups of the infections with the sea creatures. Yep. it's interesting that this virus is more is purple. So I guess I don't know what that is. Yeah, that's interesting. What you know, that kind of reminds me of the T virus. The antivirus for the T virus was purple, and as well as the Las Plagas. You know, the Las Plagas was also kind of purple, wasn't it? So in OGRE4, so that's interesting as well. Um, yeah, next up. Okay, so seems like we're in a different area here. It seems like probably this could be Alcatraz, maybe like an underground area, or it kind of looks like a warehouse. I don't know where this is. It's probably like an underground of Alcatraz. Maybe the villain here kind of bought the island and did some underground work. That would make sense. That's very Resident Evil esque. Yeah, we have the Dylan here. And yeah, we're continuing here. Now we have the whole gang here, which is pretty sick. A lot of people have been calling it the Avengers. I don't know if I call it that. I don't know, but I just love that we're seeing all of these characters here. It's awesome. You know what I mean? They're all looking badass, and yeah, it's just a great shot. Next shot we have again. This is during the day, so this is right after Jill, Chris, and Leon. No, sorry. Jill, Chris, and Claire enter Alcatraz. Again, this is the same time during the day. It seems like this is the prison here, especially with the windows here. Yeah, we have Jill running. I guess she's trying to protect the civilians. She has her knife here. Yeah, so sure enough, there's a zombie that's about to eat a person right here, right next to my face. So Jill jumps and with her knife, and it looks like she stabs him. Right, yeah, right there. That person right there looks like he was just about to get eaten. So, yeah, and yeah, we're seeing so much action sequences with Jill. Like this looks amazing. Here we see her kind of just doing a wall run, and we see an enemy there, and she just stabs him in the head. She stabs him in the head, and then just jumps off the wall. Like, really awesome. Can't wait to see the action sequences of the CGI movie. But yeah, just it looks sick, guys. Yeah. Okay, so this is a different time during the day because, of course, it almost looked like the first shot of the characters entering Alcatraz. It seems like that was kind of like sunset, seemed kind of like golden hour there. And here it looks like it's just definitely nighttime. So this would kind of make sense with Rebecca kind of entering the island as well with the boat. So I'm assuming that that's later on. Next shot, yeah, we see again. Okay, so going back, this is the same shot as before when Chris, Rebecca, and no, what am I saying? I'm getting confused now. There's so many characters. Chris, Claire, and Jill enter Alcatraz because here on the left side of the screenshot, we see it's again the same kind of sunset, golden hour kind of time. So yeah, next shot we have Leon here fighting Maria Gomez. So this is interesting. Yeah, and she kind of just tossed like it's interesting, and we do know, of course, that Maria Gomez is infected with something because there was that shot in the I think the end. I'm pretty sure the post credit scene of Resident Evil Vendetta. We did see that Maria Gomez did kind of have like red eyes, if I'm not mistaken, or was it different colored eyes? So it did allude to the fact that she was infected with something, probably the A virus. So yeah, she throws that, and as you're watching this in the trailer, it does spin really quickly. So she is super strong, I'm assuming. So yeah, next shot we have Leon kind of dodging that chair, kind of going down in that same kind of position that we saw him going down in the Resident Evil 4 remake. You know, when the Verdugo kind of shoots down, he kind of goes down like that. So I love how they're keeping it, cohesive with all of the characters' movements. But again, why didn't Leon have his knife during during that kind of quick fight with Jill when they thought that they were enemies? Yeah, that's the only thing that I guess wasn't cohesive. But anyways, let's continue. Minor nitpick, but anyways, yeah. Here we have a close. Yeah, it seems like that could be the Sentinel 9. I'm assuming. I don't know, guys. I don't know anything about guns. If you guys know, let me know down in the comments. I'm Canadian, so I don't know. What leads me to believe that this might be the Sentinel because it doesn't look like the wing. It definitely does not look like the wing shooters. So yeah, that's definitely not that. Especially with this extended kind of muzzle. Is that what it's called? Again, guys, I'm Canadian. I don't know, guys. So let me know what you guys think. Much appreciated. Let me know your thoughts. Anyways, let's continue. Okay, so right here, it seems like, what is this? A waterfall area? So it seems like they're probably entering an underground cavern. I'm assuming. Whoa. Entering an underground cavern here. This is probably the same group that Rebecca kind of goes on the boat with. So this is just back up from the BSAA, I'm assuming. Next shot, yeah, again, the same thing that we were just talking about. Rebecca just seems like she just landed on Alcatraz. Oh, and she just fought someone. Yeah, so one of the men gets eaten by one of these big fishes. Now, this is the same fish, or I guess BOW, that we saw in the first trailer, the one that was kind of going around in the waves. So, if anything, this whole shot right here kind of reminds me of the book Resident Evil Caliban Cove. So that was an SD Perry novel, and there was a scene like this where there was a T virus kind of infection on an island, or a cove, sorry, where the men kind of go where Stars members go to the island, and they do get attacked by a big fish or whatnot. So that's interesting that we're kind of seeing that. It seems like they did obviously get that inspiration from the book, from the original novel by SD Perry. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. That's interesting. That's an interesting Easter egg, I guess. Next up, yeah, we see Claire, and again, I don't know what gun this is. This is interesting. What gun is this? I can't really tell. Again, I don't know guns, guys. If you guys know, let me know. I'm really curious about that. Yep, here we go. Okay, let's continue. So this seems like, again, this is the same shot as when Claire and Chris and Jill enter Alcatraz. Again, we can see the sunset here, the sunlight. So yeah, that's a dead giveaway to know that this is all happening during that time of the movie. So, anyways, let's continue. Okay, so this right here, again, going back to that tunnel with Leon and Jill. I'm getting confused with so many names, guys. There's so many characters, it's crazy. And it seems like, yeah, Leon is holding on to Jill's hand. It seems like he was pulling her away from that liquor that we saw earlier. So, and right here, we have a closer look at the gun right here. So, yeah, that does look like the Sentinel 9 here. Yeah, yeah, definitely. That definitely looks like the Sentinel 9. Anyways, let's continue here. Yeah, so same shot. Yeah, it seems like Leon was helping Jill kind of get away there. And then, yeah, another liquor pops up from behind them, kind of just tries to take the gun, or the Leon's whole arm there. So it seems like they're both getting yanked by liquors here, which is really cool to see. Right here, let's see if we can zoom in to see exactly what's happening here. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Is something grabbing her here? Like something's definitely grabbing her legs. We can't see anything else. But is something grabbing her other arm here? I'm kind of confused. And then here, yeah, we see that the liquor is grabbed Leon's arm. So anyways, let's continue. And here we have Jill essentially state to Leon, like get down. And then yeah, she shoots the liquor. Let's zoom in, see if we can see anything. Yeah, Leon moves out of the way. Yeah, that's the liquor. Oh, right here. Oh, look at that. Interesting. So is that the liquor's mouth? That looks a lot like the Magini's. It looks a lot like Las Plagas. So that's interesting. Is this Las Plagas mixed in with the T virus? Maybe the T Abyss? Is this Las Plagas mixed with T Abyss? That would be an interesting mix, because yeah, right there, that variation, especially with the flower split in Resident Evil 5, that's interesting. I think that might be it, guys. I think that might be the virus that we're dealing with here. It seems like we have aspects of the Magini, the variation of the Las Plagas virus that was used in RA5 with maybe the T Abyss virus, or just the T virus. I'm assuming T Abyss. I'm still sticking to that, but interesting, yeah. Okay, here, next shot. Okay, next shot. Let's zoom in here. She just shot him. So, anyways, let's continue. Um, yeah, we had the same shot from when the liquors are breaking. Here we have an awesome shot of Chris and Jill here, kind of bringing us back to Resident Evil 1 with Chris, taking the I guess depending on which character you use, whether you use Jill or Chris, but you use that rocket or whatever, anti-missile. I don't know what it's called. Again, I'm not big with guns, guys, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's that 4 kind of rocket. It's so awesome to see Chris kind of sport that again. And Jill and Chris again. This is awesome. This is exactly the stuff I want to see in this movie. This looks amazing. All right, let's continue. Yeah, they're shooting. It seems like they're shooting the door. Maybe something's coming at them. Maybe it's that big fish, or just a bunch of BOWs. Next shot, we see Claire and Rebecca, which seems to be, they're still in the same room together, because that explosion kind of just hits them here. So yeah, that rocket that was shot at the door, which I'm assuming is probably just to barricade them. I don't know. We don't really have much evidence to suggest anything else here. Next shot. Oh yeah, this looks like it's Dylan. Yeah, Dylan. This looks like it's Dr. Arnold here. or sorry, Dr. Taylor. I think his name is Dr. Arnold Taylor, but I'm not sure about the first name. But yeah, it seems like this is him. That same shot in the security room. And also I didn't mention this, but it seems like yeah, the where Maria and as well as Leon fight, that seems like it's still the same room. But yeah, here we have a revolver. Seems like he's about to intimidate, and we also have a logo here of a horse. So I don't know what that is. That's very interesting. I don't know what that is, guys. This seems like it's something new. We have Dylan, and we also have something that kind of just reveals part of his story here. And it seems like Dylan here is kind of having a flashback of his days operating with UBCS during the raccoon incident. So this is interesting. It's very interesting that they're bringing us back to Raccoon City. The other time that they did this as well was in Resident Evil Degeneration with the main villain of that, or one of the villains, I guess you could say, was the Curtis Miller guy, who was the brother to Angela Miller, if I'm not mistaken. Those are the names. It's been a while since I watched that movie, but yeah, the connection also, they had a connection to Raccoon City as well. So it's interesting that they're doing the same kind of thing again. Seems like yeah, this is Dylan's unit here. And yeah, he's kind of freaking out here. We can see right there, he's in his chest. We see the umbrella logo. So this is just a dead giveaway that yeah, it seems like Dylan was a UBCS um, agent for Umbrella. So that's interesting. That's his connection to all of this. So that's the main villain. Yeah, here I optimized it so it looks a lot better. But yeah, all right, next shot. Yeah, we see Jill seems to know Dylan also, which I think is very interesting. Yeah, she kind of just talks to him by saying Dylan. I don't know if she knows him, but the just her tone in her voice, I'm assuming she does. Maybe she knew him in Raccoon City. I don't know. I don't know. This is very interesting. And maybe it's just, you know what? Maybe I'm just reading too much into this, and it's just, she knows his name is Dylan. She's like Dylan or whatever. So maybe it's just that. You know what? I'm just gonna go with that. So yeah. Let's continue. Yeah, next shot we see. Oh yeah, this seems like it's a car crash with Leon. So I'm assuming that it can't happen later on in the movie. This probably happens maybe in the beginning. So probably Leon headed somewheres and he probably gets attacked. Maybe, you know what? You know what? I'm just thinking right now what this could be is as soon as Leon gets the briefing on Dr. Taylor getting kidnapped, maybe he's off to basically try to catch that van. Maybe he has a tip that maybe the van is somewhere in the city of San Francisco and he goes off and tries to stop them and he gets, attacked by a bunch of people. So I'm assuming it seems like somebody's doing something to these cars so he has to dodge them and weave them here. So bob and weave them. And it seems like this is Dr. Taylor. It's interesting that we have this kind of effect on the screen. Is this a creature that's looking at Taylor? Seems like Taylor's an older gentleman here. Seems like the same guy that was sitting on the table. So I wonder, what is this? What is this a creature? Are we looking through a creature's eyes? Very interesting here. Yeah. Next up, it seems like Rebecca's a genius. So I don't know if she already came up with the antivirus and she's just had it. Like she already just came up with the antivirus. She's like, yeah, I'm bringing it to you guys. I'm coming to Alcatraz. That's probably what's happening. That's exactly what happened in Resident Evil Vendetta. She's like, oh yeah, I figured it out. You're a virus. So I'm assuming that's what's happening. But yeah, it's interesting. Let's see if we can zoom in to see anything. Maybe we notice anything. But no, I don't know. It looks like some kind of injection. So I'm assuming, and also there's four. So we have one for Leon, Chris, Claire, and Jill. So that would make sense. Yeah, we have like the first version of the antivirus for those characters. But it would make sense, right? Like if Rebecca was in the lab, she could just give herself a dose of the antivirus and just bring Jill, Chris, Leon, and Claire the same batch. So yeah, that's probably what's happening here. Next up, yeah, it seems like these are just the BSAA guys that are also accompanying Rebecca to the island. Next up, we see that big fish. Now, what's interesting here is that it says full. This kind of reminds me of Resident Evil 3's kind of big anti whatever gun, where Jill and Nemesis have their final boss encounter in Resident Evil 3 Remake. Seems like it might be like a gun like that. I don't know, maybe something in a lab. That would be very Resident Evil, so I'm assuming that that's probably the case. But yeah, anyways, let's continue. Next up, yeah, we have, okay, so this is still in the tunnels. It seems like, yeah, just Jill and Leon are just getting swarmed by enemies, probably lickers, because again, this is that same area. Oh no, wait a second, no, it isn't. No, this is that same security room. Yeah, this is where Leon this is where Leon was fighting Maria Gomez. So this scene seems like it's where Maria Gomez. So they might be just going back to see Maria Gomez, because we do know that Maria is infected and she's super fast. So maybe they're just getting in position to kind of just, watch each other's back to fight Maria. That's probably what's happening here. So yeah, I take it back. I don't think that this is definitely not the tunnels. This is the security room. So yeah, very interesting. Yeah, they're looking up. So that's interesting as well. All right, here we have Claire, Rebecca, and Chris all here. This is interesting because this looks like it's nighttime. So I don't know what's happening here. It's definitely not the initial shot of them entering the island during the sunset. This is like nighttime. So I wonder what they're doing here. I guess maybe they're just meeting up with Rebecca. Rebecca just got to the island and they're just gonna head deeper into the warehouse or whatever, like the lab of Dylan, where we kind of see them all kind of standing like the Avengers. How many people are saying that? So yeah, maybe that's what's happening here. Yeah, this shot right here, this is exactly what I was talking about. Maybe Rebecca gets to the island, Chris and Claire kind of reunite with her, and yeah, the next shot here. Now this, I gotta say, this is an awesome shot. Very fantastic, very just superhero inspired kind of a shot where everybody dodges it, and I love how everyone dodges it differently, because everybody's their own character. So you have Jill doing her regular kind of just, I guess Max Payne kind of dodge. I guess that would be she's just jumping to the side, shooting as she's going. Leon's already turned his back and is ready to kind of just jump on the fence, do some parkour there, which I think is funny. And then Claire is just getting ready to do like what is it called, a butterfly kick or whatever to dodge. Which is like, okay, you're really gonna dodge like that? Like that's yeah, she's going for bonus points there for looks. Then we have just Rebecca kind of just going down. We have Chris jumping the same way as Jill, which is interesting. And yeah, they're just jumping. Yeah, Leon just used the kind of the rail here, the metal rail, just to jump up. Rebecca just went straight down. Like that was really risky too. And yeah, we have we have Claire doing her butterfly, I think, kick, dodge. Again, I don't know, but I think that's what it's called. But yeah, interesting. Yeah. Very crazy, really awesome shot. All right, so let's move on here. Yeah, we have Biohazard Death Island. This is the Japanese trailer, so that's why it's called Biohazard, even though, we know it as Resident Evil in the West. So yeah, and here, yeah, we have Chris getting up on a turret here on top of a truck. What's interesting here is that this kind of reminds me of Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 6 also had a scene like this with Piers and Chris in China. So I think it's interesting they're bringing back that truck. It's a different truck, but interesting. And this seems like it's still in the warehouse. So you know what? I'm assuming they're probably going to be fighting the fish or something along those lines. Maybe they're fighting Dylan. But very interesting, yeah. And Leon right here says his line about that, he definitely needs a vacation. So yeah, very cool. Very cool to see. Here we have some samples here for Japanese viewers. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to click this video where I did my first full breakdown analysis if you guys want to know what I said regarding the first trailer. But anyways, thank you so much, guys, for watching.